Welcome back to Man in Your Corner. I am Shaun Tucker, health scientist and breathing performance trainer. We are here in the living lab documenting the science, the struggle, and the shift for every man who's ready to take his life to that next level and finally get what he wants. So, today is all about understanding what you call as stress is a signal in the body. When you just label it as stress, you are doing yourself an injustice. Try listening instead and see how you can help yourself become that next best version of you. But before we get into it, please go ahead and like, share, and please give us a rating on the podcast platform you are listening or viewing on right now, because it helps get the message in front of the man who needs to hear it today. So that thing you call a stress in your body, be it tension in your shoulders, tension in your neck, a bit of queasiness in the belly, a bit of a headache, tightness in your back. We tend to label it as stress. But what if, instead of just labeling it before you even know what it's about, you sit with it? You understand that sitting with it will actually help you get to a closer resolve than just labeling it. Because if you are just fighting stress through your body, this is what happens when years and years compact with stress, is you start to get into a state of dis-ease. What is dis-ease? It's disease, for crying out loud, right? One of the biggest problems we have in modern society is we say it's stress, right? There's nothing wrong with stress. Stress is a normal function of the body. Stress is a necessary function of the body. Because without stress, nothing happens. However, if there is too much stress in the system, if there's too much stress there, it will cause it to become overloaded. Particularly in times of uncertainty, where stress signals go up in the body, it can be really detrimental to the overall system. It can destroy your cell structures. It can, cause all sorts of issues. This episode's not so much about that. It's more so about listening to what's beyond the surface of what you call stress, when the pain is trying to signal to you that there's something else going on. So where you feel that tightness, where you feel the tenderness, where you feel the discomfort, where you maybe even feel the anxiety, the butterflies in your tummy, the uncertainty, the anxious kind of feeling where you're trembling in your words, in your speech, in your physical body. These patterns, they're all part of a core root problem. And it's not so much about just pointing at it and saying, oh, it's stress. No, because it's unhelpful. If you sit with it and really truly listen to it, I promise you'll learn something about yourself. Because it's a pattern. And patterns can be recognized. It's what makes humans really exceptional in many levels, in many degrees. Because we have an ability to recognize patterns. And if you understand that some of these patterns are really just triggered from unmet needs, I'll use myself as a case to point at and say, yeah, this is exactly what's happening. So this morning I woke up feeling quite heavy, especially in and around my head. Last few days I've been shaking off a cold or flu symptoms of cold or flu, but I didn't have any infectious cold or flu. I didn't catch it from anyone. This is something that's been coming out of my body for something that I've been holding on to. So it's actually more of a purge than anything. And this morning I woke up quite heavy in and around my head, very tired, and I didn't really know what to do. I actually had the privilege of being able to take some rest, which I'm very grateful and very happy about, because it allows me to be more present. If you are able to sit with the discomfort, you'll learn about what's going on. So part of the letting go and the purging is meaning that you get adequate rest. Because if you're not, and you keep pushing, you will make yourself sick. You genuinely will make yourself into a state of disease. And that head tension, that head heaviness, if you just reach out for a coffee, which can mask the symptoms, it can hide them, right? If you just reach for it, well, it's going to cause a lot of issues later on because you're just borrowing once again from your future self. And this morning I didn't have my coffee I delayed it by about 5 hours. I was able to take a nap, have a little bit of rest, and I feel a million times better than I did when I woke up. Because I allowed my body and my mind to settle. And I'm not saying that everyone has the privilege to do that. But everyone does have the privilege of paying attention to their breathing. If they're breathing really shallow, like they're just breathing here into their neck and shoulders, maybe not even into their chest. Or maybe you're not able to take full breaths. Maybe you're only mouth breathing, right? Just closing your eyes for 30 seconds, not even that, 5 seconds. It enables you to close off the outside world and pay attention to what it is you're focusing on. So if it's your breathing and you're noticing your breath, and you're noticing where in your back where that tension is, you can sit with it for a little bit longer. And maybe you can start to recognize that pattern of pain that you have is actually not from a workout. It's not from any physical laborious thing that you've done. It's merely from you putting yourself last and not really taking good care of yourself. So the muscles were holding on, and now because you've been purging, you've been able to give it up. And so that whole area of tightness where you would just label it as stress. Because what happens when we do get stressed? What happens when the expectations of what we need to do go up? The body tightens, right? And this is the case, except when that pattern gets held onto, the body needs to find a place and a time where it can let go. And this is often when people go on holiday. So going on holiday is great because it lets people heal and recover. But in a short summary, in those moments where your body needs rest, your body feels really tight, don't just go and grab the pain meds. Don't just go and grab the caffeine. Don't just reach out to mask the symptom. Sit with it. Let your body process it. Let your mind sit with what's happening. Because I promise you'll be so much more integrated and so much more alive coming out the other side. You'll have so much more energy. You'll have so much more focus. And you'll feel a lot better about yourself and what your mission here is and what you're doing in your life to achieve that. Because things don't always go the way you think they have to go. In fact, they never go the way that you think they're going to go. So become a little bit more present to what's happening. Just go with the flow. I think that's the core message of today. Learn to go with the flow and really pay attention and listen to what's really happening. If you found value in this episode, please give us a rating on that podcast platform you're listening or watching on now. It brings us to the end of today's episode of Man in Your Corner. So, if you do have a pain in your body that you have not been able to resolve and not with anyone else's help, so you've been seeing allied health professionals and still it ends up being the same kind of thing, then please message me. Remember that most people wait for their life to change. We are the ones making the conscious choices to make our life better. Change your state. Choose how you show up. I am Shaun Tucker. I'll see you in the next one.